So the next job for painting is going to be this Goliath Gang, and this first, well, we're going to try and do all the skin, all the base tones at least, the base colours at least, and we're going to start with, I think this is called, what's it called, the Kislev Flesh. Got one of these plastic Goliath gangers to start with. Got the wet palette. Now I'm not going to cover the whole thing in thick amount of paint. I'm just going to fill in where I need to. I won't make a mess of it entirely. I think I'll, as I usually try to do, is keep it sort of neat rather than just covering it entirely. And this is just over my grey primer, or it's a very light grey primer by Tamiya. And you'll also see that it's not a thick coat at all. If anything, it's pretty much on the light side for a coat. When you look at the painting guides that Games Workshop do for their flesh, they often start with quite a dark flesh colour, being, I think it's called Bugman's Glow, and then they try to come up to this sort of tone. I think it's just too far to go, so I'm just going to start with this, and you can see it's not a perfect coat, but what I've found is that once you do the shade over this, you then have to come back at it with the original base colour, and then on top of that you have to lighten it further for highlighting. So I often I don't mind if it's not perfect coverage, because you're going to be going over it a couple of times at least during the process of lightening it up. And we're going to be trying to do the paint scheme shown in the paint guides and things like that. We're going to try and match that kind of traditional colour scheme as best we can. Maybe have a guess at some of the colours used. Hopefully you can see that face, the expression. It just amazes me how much detail they managed to get into these, because I mean they're literally one-to-one from the original sculpt, and it's incredible how much detail they got into them, just using hand tools. So that's him, so I'll get the rest of these done, and then we'll come back for the next step. The skin's all done now, so we're just on the reds. I think just through handling I'm going to be taking paint off these metal miniatures. So there's going to be tidy up work to be done, and I'm working from the heavy metal guide for the colour scheme. This alternate gang leader, although it's not shown on the box, it's in one of the white dwarfs, and that's where I'm going to get the scheme from. Same with the rest of them actually, they're all shown somewhere, and you can see that I am being somewhat neat where I'm putting the paint. I'm not just putting it everywhere or over the edges, I'm trying to put the colour where it needs to go. It's some character design, this one. Really stand out. I don't know if there's rules in the game for the chainsaw built into the head or hat, whatever it's meant to be. Can't imagine if there's some sort of special headbutt move, and I fully expect to have to go over this again as I rub off paint just from handling it. I think that's done with the red. This you see I'm using that as the guide. Just using the size 2 brush here as well. I'm not using a small brush at this point. Still got a good tip on it though, it's nice and neat to work with. Okay, that's that one. So I'll carry on with the rest of these, doing the passer reds. So we're getting on with the base colours. Red and dark grey are done. And I've made a start to the silver on this one. But I'd just like to go back now and just start doing some of these accessories as well. They've got which are just going to be a mixture of leather colours, some different browns. I won't do the hair until the very end because I'm using the tops of their hair just to hold the mini. If you bother painting it, it's just going to rub off quick. This colour I'm using just at the moment is Bugman's Glow. Which, looking at the photography, you can just kind of, it looks like this kind of colour is used in these sheaths for the knives. Some final bits and pieces to put in for base colours, and the teeth. Just need to get some white in here. Well, it's not actual white I'm using, it's Pallid Wych Flesh. Just with a small brush. Just try to see if his eyes are even open. People have a habit of painting eyes onto what are actually the lower eyelids, which never looks right. And in fact, should probably get some metal on the end of that handle. tricky to get to. Change to a less important brush for the metal parts. And yeah. Here we go. I can just make out some gold on the box for the end of this. Some sort of little design on the end of that, I can barely make it out. With the boots, like I've done the other ones, looks like I've missed that. So try and do that now. For the areas where you can see the sole on the boot. The flesh tone. Just to sort a couple of bits. So just come in and tidy around that lips again. And then maybe just at the eyes as well. That's not bad. Okay. Well, as you move it around, the light catches it and you see. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so next we can do some washing now.